Evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the August 14th, 2023 Town Board meeting. We had some technical difficulties. For the record, we have already said the Pledge of Allegiance, and I will make a motion to open the Town Board meeting of August 14th, 2023. Can I get the motion?
Bingham will second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
All aye.
McGinn, aye. All right, and as I previously stated before the technical difficulty, Supervisor Cardone he is joining us. There he is. Okay, so I am the acting supervisor tonight, but Supervisor Cardone is joining us remotely. And welcome, Supervisor Cardone. How are you? All right, great.
Sal, you have to turn on your mic.
All right, Supervisor, just say something again, see if George can hear you.
Hello, everyone.
Okay.
Yeah. That's as good as it's gonna get.
That's as good as it's getting. So let's
Here's what it is.
let's get this dog and pony show on the road here, shall we? Community announcements. Mary, would you be kind enough to do the 3.1 and 3.2, please?
Sure. First, I'd like to say the Lions had their community garage sale crafts event this past Sunday, and it was a huge success. On September 10th, they're going to do a cruise of the Hudson on the Pride of the Hudson, which will leave at 12 noon. It's, I should say boarding starts at 12 noon, and the cruise runs from 1 to 3 p.m. Tickets are adults $33, seniors 65 and over are $30. Children between 4 and age 11 are $22, and under 4 it's free. It's a great fundraiser for the Lions Club. They're going to have snack and a cash bar, a 50-50 raffle, and a whole lot of scratch-off lottery tickets. So come join them. It's a great fundraising event for them. Okay. Hop Rocks for Kids. It's a concert, and it's going to be held at Smith Clove Park on August 27th, and it's a fundraiser for childhood cancer research. Again, it's a benefit, so please come out and support them. And the time is from 12 to 5 p.m. Okay.
Thank you. All right, Councilwoman Yahul, would you be happy enough to take or kind enough to take 3.3 and 3.4 and 3.5 under community announcements?
I'd love to. So on September 9th, which is a Saturday, Lakeside Firehouse is going to host a garage sale right here in the parking lot of Town Hall. It will start at 10 a.m. And it will go until 4 p.m. They're going to have lots of great people out there selling a whole bunch of great stuff, and the proceeds will go to benefit the firehouse, which is really important, as we all know. There is a rain date, so should it happen to rain on September 9th, the rain date will be September 16th, the following weekend. And after you take that cruise for the Lions Club on September 10th, we're hoping that you'll come back to the Village of Monroe, because that will be their second annual Cheese Festival. Last year, I'm sure a lot of you were there last year, it was a huge success. They had a ton of wonderful vendors. It's shaping up to be just as successful this year. So it will be Sunday, September 10th from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. down by the ponds. And I know that it's kind of warm right now, and I know that you're really not thinking about fall. But soon enough, fall will be here, and so will Halloween. And the town of Monroe will yet once again host their trunk or treat. That's going to be held at O&R Park.
O&R Park,
Yes,
yep.
it's going to be held at O&R Park this year. Last year we had a ton of trunks, we had a ton of kids, and a ton of fun, but it was just a little bit too small. It was a little too challenging for cars to enter and exit and people to walk around the property. So we found a much safer place to do this, and it looks like it's going to make its way to be a wonderfully spooktacular time. So You like that, huh?
Very good.
So that's going to be from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Saturday, October 21st.
And Carrillo does a great job putting that event together for
Yes,
us.
she does.
And last year, like you said, Dory, that the traffic jams that that happened probably 6:30, 7 o'clock, we all knew that, if we got through last year, it would be the last year.
Yeah.
We would do it there, and then we put our heads together and decided that O&R Park would be a much better fit.
A much better fit.
All right, on that vein, or on that note, we need to make a resolution to approve the use of the town-owned O&R Park for the community trunk and treat event on Saturday, October 21st, 6 to 8 p.m. Can I get a second? Call a question?
Bingham, aye.
Pool eye.
Again, aye?
And Carrillo, aye.
Cardona, aye.
All right. It's a little scary, I don't know. All right, and 3.6, Town Food Truck Festival. Sal, take it away.
So once again, we will be back with our Fall Food Truck Festival on Saturday, October 28th, from 11 to 6. Hay rides, beer garden, probably close to 20 food trucks. We've been so successful in the past with these events. They just keep growing and growing. Again, Jen Schnars, Anne-Marie Morris are so instrumental in putting this together and helping the town board. So come on out that day, October 28th. It's a little later this year, so please come out and join us. It's always a special day.
Bring a sweater,
Yeah, hoodie,
appetite.
bring your appetite for sure.
Great day. So, all right, thank you, Sal, much appreciated. Okay, I'd like to go into the public hearing segment of our meeting. 4.1, I need a motion to open the continuation of the public hearing, Pilati Village Conservation Cluster Zone application.
I will make that motion.
And Bingham will second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Pool eye.
McGinn, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Cardona, aye.
Okay. Any public comment?
Yes, there is. The first one, I have Antoinette Karen. Sorry, George.
Hi, Antoinette. If you could just state your first and last name, that'd be great. And
My
what
first-
town you live in.
My first and last name is Antoinette Kerens. I live in the town of Monroe at the Cromwell Hill Commons. This is my third time appearing here. I feel like I'm part of the board, but I'd like to thank the board for allowing me to appear once again. I was on the internet and saw one person who wrote that was not in favor of the Pilati Village senior housing. And in the comment, she wrote how many people were at the last meeting and stated there were a few friends of the Palatines in favor of the project. Yes, we are friends of the Palatines. And like the sisters, we also believe in this project because of our concern for affordable housing for senior citizens. We are not just here representing us as their friends. It is very clear in all that I read and talking to many seniors that affordable housing market is not keeping up with the demands and the need for the aging seniors in the Hudson Valley and especially Monroe, as far as I know. Might be worse somewhere else, but I don't know about that. Many are on fixed incomes, and inflation and high-cost rents in the area drives them out of Monroe and in some cases out of the Hudson Valley. They have to leave the town that they knew and move into areas where they have little support in comparison to the support they would have here. In looking up some of the data, I found that in the Hudson Valley, including Monroe, the average studio apartment rent is $1,733 per month. And the average one-bedroom is $2,082 a month. For many seniors, especially if their income only comes from Social Security, they cannot afford to pay that much for rent, which leaves them very little money for food, clothing, and medical needs, and other necessary needs. Affordable housing for seniors' rents are based on a senior spending approximately 30% of their income for housing costs. Obviously, the above rents are way above 30% of many Social Security checks. Do we have a responsibility to our seniors, who in many cases have lived here for most of their lives and made wonderful contributions to Monroe and to our community, and yet when they age, we have no way to help them to remain part of our community? I personally know of 4 seniors that are in need of these apartments because of changes in their income, especially when a spouse passes and they only have one security check, Social Security check, and rather than 2 to cover the expenses they had when there were 2 incomes coming into the household. This is our opportunity to answer a problem that is critical in Monroe and the Hudson Valley. I understand many people here are concerned about the environment and the effects any development will have on the town, like aesthetics, water, traffic, and etc. We've been fighting that for 60 years. I've lived here for 60 years. But there are engineers and professionals along with the town that are working hard to head off some of these concerns. I recommend, rather than coming here to fight a good deserving project for seniors, they should approach the town with possible solutions or get answers to their questions and concerns, but don't lose sight of the need for affordable housing. I just want to end this by saying that the Palatine sisters did not enter this project lightly. They have had professionals helping them research this project for many, many years. This is a similar project which happened in Rockland County that has been very successful, and they are hoping that we can offer the same wonderful community to the many seniors here in Monroe and the surrounding area. Thank you so much, and I hope that eventually this will become an opportunity for our residents. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Madam Clerk, any more?
Yes, there is, but I'm just going to hook up so I can put the stopwatch on the screen.
I mean, we can.
Got it.
How do I turn my mic on?
There it is.
How do I turn my mic on?
This one. Yeah, there you go.
Thank you very much.
Try it.
Okay, George? Okay, so the next person we have is Laura Horn.
Or Horn? All right, please come on down.
Hello and good evening. Thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Laura Horn. I'm very much in favor of the proposed Pilati Village project for a number of reasons. Foremost, the population of aging individuals continues to rise. There is a tremendous need for safe, supportive, affordable housing for these people, of whom many of these have spent their entire lives here in this community supporting their community. I have been a native of this area for nearly 40 years. As newlyweds, my husband and I were renting in Rockland County. My husband worked at the pharmaceutical company Ciba-Geigy. I was teaching multiply handicapped children in Middletown. My employer, residing in Monroe, kept saying, move here, I will show you around. My husband and I came, we saw, we liked, and we raised our 3 children here. Our son, as a teen and young adult, worked at the grounds of Mansion Ridge Golf Course. I loved the times that I assisted in his commute. The area was quiet, pretty, with homes well-kept, pristine lawns, and nearby lakes. I'm with you all. I want this area to remain lovely. I strongly trust that the Sisters of Charity Housing Development Corporation will preserve the tranquility of this parcel of land. I am confident that they will ensure the functioning of the watershed, that the wells, water supply, and treatment plants are up to par, refurbished, and in code compliance. I trust that they will be upfront and transparent on these crucial needs. I believe that Harriman Heights Road can reach even higher heights of notoriety with a well-planned, pretty landscape with buildings that preserve their history and uniqueness of this area. I believe that these quiet seniors can enrich us with their unique stories of days long ago. This area can remain quiet, beautiful, and lovely. And as a side note, I believe that job opportunities could arise for people that would be in a nice environment for them to begin a career and a job. I thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Roy? I can't say your last name, I'm sorry.
Let us know when she gets up here. How are you, ma'am? Can you state your first and last name and what town you live in, please?
My name is Rory Chorchari. I live on Jones Drive in Highland Mills, New York. I am currently the recording secretary for the Catholic Daughters of the Americas, Court Margaret Mary 768. We are based out of Sacred Heart Church in Monroe. Sister Michelle Ruggiero, a Palatine nun, is our spiritual advisor. It's difficult to embrace change, but sometimes change is necessary. Please know that the Palatine nuns have very prayerfully decided that the property in question needs to be sold. The Palatine nuns have been very responsible in their research about the best way for this property to be used in order to be advantageous for the area. Of course, they could have just outright sold it and let things go where they will. No, that is not their way. Pilati Village will mostly be made available for senior citizens in the area who would be looking for an apartment. And please note, I may just be one of those people in the future when I sell my house. And keeping the community in mind, there will be a soccer field available for Monroe residents. I watched the video from the July 6th town meeting regarding this Pilati Village project. Michael Morganti, the consulting engineer for this project, gave a very comprehensive presentation regarding Pilati Village. There were some folks who were concerned about the water supply for Pilati Village and the impact on the surrounding area. Mr. Morganti gave reassuring information about these concerns and is still available if residents have any other concerns. There probably will be some issues. There always are with any project that have to be resolved, none of which are insurmountable. So considering where things could have gone, I am hoping that the board and Monroe residents will be able to accept and embrace this project. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Eileen Shepard?
Eileen Shepard. I live in Washingtonville. I've been up here and I've spoken before since 1957. I am a retiree of Monroe Woodbury Central Schools since 1995. So if you do the math, you see I'm here a long time. I speak in favor of the project. The sisters have worked on this not only the past 3 years, but prior to that, planning for this has been going on. So it's something that a lot of thought has been given to it. One way or another, the property needs to be sold. That's the reality. I would hope at this point that I don't have to spend all of fall coming to these town hall meetings. I would hope that this dream, this vision could become a reality for the Palatine Sisters and for the good of the Monroe community. So I would hope that we could bring closure to it and see the fruits of the labors of the sisters for the past 100 years. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak here.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Matthew Ladka.
Matthew Ladka, Orange Turnpike, Monroe, New York. Let's see. You, the town board, and our town planning board are in a vital position to change the way Monroe is developed right now and in the future. You have to make it right. Any mistakes that possibly might happen now will definitely cost us in the future. What do I mean by that statement? I have many concerns in this matter, but the three I'm going to talk about today are traffic, water, and aesthetics. What do I mean by traffic? And you can almost bundle traffic and water together. I understand that we have had experts upon experts and reports, and this has been going on many years. However, I don't believe them. Because I could tell you right now, as far as traffic is concerned, in the last 2 months, since we've had the massive flooding and the storms, the traffic pattern in Monroe, and it had nothing to do with Monroe, has changed, and it has increased right out here on Orange Turnpike so much that it takes me at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to work an extra 5 minutes to get out of my driveway. That's something that has happened that not in this area, many, many miles away, but it's part of our community as well where that happened. Here is something being developed right here, a mile away from my house. They're trying to tell me that there's not going to be any impact in traffic. This can all be the same with the water. They're guaranteeing me that my well is not going to run dry. I don't believe them. What's going to happen if my well goes dry? Who's going to pay for that? Why can't we have this developer put money in escrow, put money in bonds that protect the local people around here so that if and when something goes wrong, and it possibly might, it very well might, we go back to them and hold them responsible. Not that they're done when it's full occupancy and they walk away and then 5 years later we say, oh no, we should have done this. We don't know what the future is going to bring here in Monroe with all the developments that's being proposed. But let's hold the developer accountable for their actions of what they're trying to develop, because we don't know what it's going to do. Right? Finally, the last thing, aesthetics. What do I mean by that? I was looking through the plans on Monroe, just like probably everyone else, you know, the town board. And maybe I'm not using the right word to describe it, but those buildings are cookie cutters. They are not aesthetically pleasing or fitting to the Monroe decor. Why can't we hold them accountable and make them make something for the seniors, which I'm for? Make something for the other development they want to plan across the road that's state of the art. That's something that the people of Monroe are not fighting, but we're proud of. That people want to come here, seniors want to come and live here. All right? That's important. Why can't we have them, again, be held accountable? That's the tone of my whole statement here. Hold them accountable for what they want. And we have the opportunity right now to do that. And it's up to you guys to do that. Now I look, and the other thing that really surprised me is everyone's talking about the undeveloped land. You know, we have X percentage that's going to be buildings, X percentages that's going to be put into, you know, open lands. And we're talking about putting a soccer field. I find that kind of funny. Why does a senior want to play soccer? Why do they want to do that? I understand the concept, but why don't we go to the seniors and ask them what they want? Maybe they want a garden, a vegetable garden. Maybe they want a flower garden where they can have all the tools at hand to develop that garden, something that they have interest in, something that they can be proud of. If we want to develop a soccer field or fields, sports fields, walking trails, again, why can't we tell the developer, listen, we want this done, but instead of developing it here, you're going to put the money back into our parks and recreation here. Smith Clove Park. Why can't we use the money? Why do we got to put a soccer field over here that's going to cause more traffic? Why can't we put that money into our
Matthew,
own
just,
community?
It's been 5 minutes. You just need to wrap up.
Well, I pretty much just did, but thank you.
You got it.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Angela Curtis.
Angela Curtis. I live at 129 Wildcat Road in Monticello, New York, but I have lots of opportunities to visit Monroe, and I'm very happy when I come down and visit my friends and take part in different activities. But it's definitely a challenge to see that this would definitely be a positive product and project for Monroe, and I would be very happy to see it go through because it would answer a lot of helpful needs, and it's not been done, as been said before, with slate planning at all, and very, very thoughts to the community, and it would definitely be a positive thing for the community, and I know personally many people who would be able to take advantage of a nice, affordable housing. And Monroe is a beautiful place, and it's a chance to help support the people who want to stay here and be here. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Maureen Richardson.
Hi, my name is Maureen Richardson. I live in the town of Monroe. I live on Harriman Heights Road, right down the block from this project, actually. And I was not included as a community member in the brainstorming aspect at all, despite my address being on Harriman Heights Road, because I'm not within 300 feet of the project. I think on the internet, I also made the joke that the raccoons who are within the 300 feet of the project would request that all garbage be left with lids off so that access is easier for them. And I'm pretty sure the 3 other people who got mailers for the public Zoom meeting where the community needs were considered in the survey required, I don't think that they represent the community at large that Matt has referred to being affected, because Harriman Heights is actually a throughway that connects to Orange Turnpike, the village of Harriman, the Pine Tree Elementary School road is up that way, and many accidents occur in that intersection as it is. I think most people who have spoken are all in favor of this being a project for seniors. And our question is it going to be affordable? Is it going to be safe? Is it going to be for seniors and fit their needs? Because we don't see how that's possible, and we don't see how it's going to be environmentally conscious, or that that has taken a back seat to the developer who did consider a community's needs, but maybe not our community's needs when they designed this. In terms of affordability, correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is that the rent is actually calculated on the median or average income of this area, which is going to remain high. Unless Rockaville is doing something where their program is setting rents lower than what a prior speaker listed it as, that can't really be changed. There's a set number, and if it's not actually affordable housing, but it's actually workforce housing, that's an even higher percentage. So if you actually calculate that, and I think I have at one point, it's not very reasonable, and it is probably still out of the price range of many seniors. So unless Rockaville is doing something to accommodate for that, I don't see it being affordable. But once again, if there are seniors who do need it and can afford it, we should have units dedicated to them, more units dedicated to them, less units overall. A prior speaker at prior meetings had said, just have a couple buildings. We don't really need CCR the way that it's written. And I agree. I would like to see one half of Harriman Heights Road permanently preserved, the half by Blythea Lake, because I think that that's actually what OCLT and OSI, which are looped into our code, but who haven't been consulted from the start. It creates this black hole of legality where if you're incorporating entities that need to hold land easements, and the planning board is dictating that they need to hold land easements for Rye Hill, how is that possible that they aren't being involved from the start and dictating and being a part of that process? I don't even know where that black hole goes, actually. That's one of my thoughts. Just time-wise?
Minute and a half.
Thanks. And as far as safety, I'll just reiterate, I don't think that we have the volunteerism for EMT or fire right now that it would take for the current designs, as well as just have we looked at this impact? Has the planning board done these studies incorporating the overall, predicted for Rye Hill? It's going to be 491 units, supposedly, and 180 units being constructed roughly around the same time. Have we even done studies that shows that impact and that major construction on the same groundwater table? Have we done that? I don't think we have looked at Harriman Heights and Orange Turnpike and the Village of Harriman and that section leading out by the McDonald's and that intersection as a whole with what the developer has been considering in this area. So again, I request that change is necessary, change CCR code. Thank you.
Thank you.
No more speakers.
Morgante, would you like to comment on the project relevant to the comments made by the speakers?
Sure, I'd be glad to. Thank you for the opportunity. For the record, my name is Michael Morgante. I'm the project engineer for this application. So we were here, I was here July, I think it was 7th. We heard a lot of the community's concerns at that public hearing, and then in my absence on the 10th, I think there was another meeting. I watched that meeting and reviewed the comments. I would like to remind the board that you have a unique situation here where we've actually come to you with a project where the planning board has actually finalized the seeker process. So we kind of flipped the script on the town board on this one and went to the planning board first. So I do want the board to understand we had a public information meeting where we had like 100 people at that meeting and went through a lot of questions. We gathered a lot of information. We prepared responses. There are a lot of the same questions we're hearing tonight. And then as a result of that, the planning board prepared that secret document, gave it to the town board, also prepared a referral, gave it to the town board, endorsing in their own way that the project was complete from an environmental impact statement standpoint. We also listened to, again, in the July meetings, the concerns from the public. We wrote them down and we've prepared responses again and have provided those to this town board in writing. I would like to remind this town board that we conducted well testing during a time period when we were on a drought, We pumped the wells at maximum daily demand for 3 times longer, a 72-hour straight period, with no drawdown, significant drawdown, excuse me, in any of the neighboring wells. And we've conducted an in-depth traffic study that Orange County Department of Public Works themselves, who actually has ultimate jurisdiction, didn't even require us to do a traffic study. Let me repeat that. They did not require us to do a traffic study. We would not have triggered minimum thresholds for a traffic study to even be conducted. But at the town's request, through the seeker process, we honored the town's request to do a traffic impact study. The town's consultant reviewed that and found it to be in strict concurrence with what our recommendations were. There were some dot your I's, cross your T's kind of things, but overall, whatever the results were that we found in that study were deemed appropriate and accepted by the town. So this has undergone 18 months of review at the planning board, very thorough, comprehensive review by your planning board and all their consultants. We've come here now before the town board and have heard a lot of these same concerns. We've provided all those responses in writing. I think the responses are adequate and consistent with what we had originally provided during the seeker process. So at the very least, I would make my case to the board tonight that you consider, at the very least, consider closing this public hearing with the potential for a resolution of some sort to be considered in the future. Those are my closing statements for tonight, unless the town board has any other concerns or questions for me.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan. Before we forward, here this evening.
I would like to address the affordability of the project. So I had an opportunity to sit down and talk with Nicole Anderson at Community Development because I wanted to get a better understanding of what this project and other projects like it would mean from the affordability standpoint, from the affordable housing, workforce housing, and such. This project has gotten approval for funding from the federal government specifically because of the way that it's designed and the communities that it is meant to provide opportunities to. So yes, there is workforce housing. Yes, there is senior housing. They're not the same thing. So the senior housing is going to be financed through Rockville, through the Sisters of Charity, through that portion. And then there will be another portion of the housing that is not associated with the senior housing that will fall under workforce housing. And that is going to be monitored federally. There will be communication between the property developers and I believe it's ILAC is the acronym for this particular program. So these are two separate things. The seniors are not expected to pay the workforce housing because as one of our speakers did say, workforce housing is 100%, 80 to 100% of the average median income. That's not what the senior housing is going to be priced at. So I just wanted to make that clarification that those are two separate things.
I'll just couple of comments, and these came up at the last public hearing. The soccer field is not intended for the seniors. I'm not saying that the seniors certainly couldn't get out there on the soccer field, but it is intended for the youth soccer leagues that are here in town that there is a lack of field space. There previously was a soccer field that was in that on Harriman Heights Road. I used to coach soccer there. My kids played there. Having a soccer field there, I think, would be a great thing for the seniors because you know what? Maybe they'll come out and see their grandkids play on the field. Maybe I'll see my own grandkids play on that field someday. So it's you know, and if not, they can go out, they can walk around it. It does lend itself to recreation activity. So again, the soccer field wasn't intended for the seniors' use, but of course they'd be more than welcome to use it. Traffic, yes, traffic was heavier over the last 6 weeks, and that was largely due to the rain. I take Orange Turnpike every day going into work, every day going home. I take it down 17 to the Thruway, across the Tappan Zee, down to the Bronx. Yes, the traffic was horrendous. Traffic was horrendous because the 10,000 cars a day that go over the Bear Mountain Bridge were all using the Thruway. And it screwed up traffic all over town. It made it horrendous. It took me an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, 2 hours some days to get to and get home from work. And that was not going at 8 o'clock in the morning. I've noticed since the Palisades Route 6 have now opened that traffic situation has definitely died down some. So, but yes, it was terrible, after the storms. I commend DOT, whoever got the roads open in pretty good time. So, even though Rye Hill wasn't on the this isn't a Rye Hill public hearing, one of the speakers brought it up, and I'll restate again something that I've said numerous times. Orange County Land Trust was involved with it from the beginning, so it's to kind of say that we never consulted OSI or Orange County Land Trust or any of these other entities is just plainly false. That's not the case. Emergency services, they've all weighed in. They are more than capable of handling the development that would go in at Pilati Village. Fire, EMS, police, no problem. They're able to handle it. So while that might be an opinion of a person, that's not the actual fact based on what the first responders themselves, their chiefs and line officers are telling us. So, okay, so that being said, I'd like to make a motion that we continue the public hearing to September 5th at 7 p.m. or shortly thereafter.
I'll second.
Call the question.
Aye.
Cool, aye.
Begin aye.
Gancarello, aye.
Okay. Mr. Supervisor. Okay. Okay, 4.3, I'd like to make a motion to open the continuation of the public hearing regarding local law H-V1 of 2022 to amend Chapter 57, zoning concerning the regulation and governing of tree preservation. Can I get a second?
Cool, second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cool, aye.
Begin aye.
Gancarello, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Okay. Madam Clerk, any speakers?
Maureen Richardson.
Ms. Richardson, come on down.
Maureen Richardson, Harriman Heights Road in Monroe. This is for tree preservation, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Basically, I think we have decided as a town to focus on the punitive issues for tree preservation, do the basics, slap on, a pretty good tree code actually, since the rest of the county, when I hop onto these county meetings, always talk about how they copied Monroe legislation. So it's pretty surprising when the public hearing opened in the first place, talking about how it was vague or undefined, or, aside from the fact that the specialized species list was never completed. Many towns actually use our code as a jumping off point, so to then attempt to make that what I perceive to be more simplistic in a more developer-friendly way and less progressive in what I would expect to see over an 8-year time period with what's going on environmentally, globally, in terms of climate change. I think I've come a bunch of times and spoken about die-off during the drought last year. Those orange trees, you'll see them driving down the highway up to Albany, down to Jersey. You'll see the mountains. They're just littered with dead trees now. So I've submitted a couple written comments. The gist is that I think that we need to keep working on this in not only a stronger, more punitive way of actually cracking down on what people complain at ShopRite at the drugstore to each other, just standing online, that how can we be letting these people come in, developers come in and cut down all the trees? That's the one complaint that I hear all over town, all the time, my entire life growing up here. Where have all the trees been going to? Why are we not getting money for all those trees on top of it? Imagine all those dollars that we could have had. So I think, turning our one resource of maybe land that will be developed, because we are going to be turning into a desirable commuter area relatively quickly, I think, just due to the demographics of COVID and everything like that, and becoming more desirable, and we do have to protect against overdevelopment in that way and predict it and adapt. Again, I would have just expected much more modernization, so I think that we have to do leaps and bounds now to catch up with it. And I think a town like Kinnelon, New Jersey, I submitted last night, basically, there's a interesting tree law case where someone decided they were going to remove 30 trees from a neighbor's property. And they thought that they could get away with the $1,000 fee per 30 trees, and it turns out that they had to pay for the entire restoration and irrigation process. And if that's a standard in a city that's only about 45 to 50 minutes away from us, in the same vicinity away from New York City, I think we need to be asking our planner to not only just adapt what we have and modernize just the language within our mind frame, our mind's eye, and the frame that we box ourselves into. We need to be expanding out to what's actually going on, again, globally, environmentally, culturally, and start thinking ahead and planning what we want to see here instead of what we don't want to happen. So there's beneficial aspects to having a tree law as well, where you can require plantings and design the future of Monroe, as well as stop destruction. So I would just request that we not only continue this, but do more research into that side of things. Thank you.
There are no more speakers.
Dennis, do you have anything on it, or on the tree code?
Good night, ladies.
Good night, everyone.
Dennis Fordham, Conservation Commission chairperson. I have submitted comments to the board and to MaxDAC from February through June. We've had some go around and some response. I understand he's extremely busy. However, I think we need to try and wrap this up and get and the next version of the tree preservation law out there to respond to comments, just as Maureen Richardson was saying. I think what may be a good idea, because I have submitted comments over a number of periods of time, I'll submit those again over the next few days in one concise document, and then try and get this brought to a head. Okay, thank you.
Oh, we'll follow up with the planner.
Yeah, I just want to let you know, late this afternoon, he did send an updated draft, but obviously not in time for us to do anything with it tonight. But he did send the draft today.
Oh.
So we'll get that out there and share that. It said he incorporated the comments from the commission, so.
Well, I'd be interested to see that.
I didn't see it either, so.
Yeah, it just came in before the meeting, so.
So will that be available tomorrow?
Sure, it can be, yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Do you get a copy of it from Max? Does he email it to you direct? No?
No.
We'll get it to you.
No, maybe last time he did, but.
We'll get it to you.
Yeah, we get it to you.
No problem.
So you'll
We'll get it
email
the
that to
commission.
me directly?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
You got it.
Thank you, Dennis.
I'd like to make a motion to continue the public hearing on the tree code on September 5th at 7 p.m. or shortly thereafter.
Bingham will second.
Called question?
Bingham, aye.
Poole, aye.
McGinn, aye.
Ancarello, aye.
Hey, Mr. Supervisor, can you hear?
Oh, I think he's frozen.
He's frozen.
No, he's there. He's He's just very, stoic there. Supervisor, can you hear us?
Yeah, Cardone, aye. I was on mute.
He was on mute.
Sorry.
Hey, motion is so passed. All righty. Okay, moving right along here, 4.5, I'd like to make a motion to open the continuation of the public hearing on the proposed Arrow Park Water District. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Poole, aye.
Begin aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Okay. Send a carrier pigeon back and forth with this. Do you have anyone comment?
There is no
Okay.
public comment.
All right, well, I did speak to the supervisor before this, and so we, based on how long it's going to take to get the engineering studies and some other work done, his recommendation is that we put it off until, or continue the public hearing on December 4th at 7 p.m. or shortly thereafter.
Bingham will second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Poole, aye.
Begin aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Okay. Motion is so passed. 4.7, so Mr. Nugent, we have the order after public hearing regarding the Lake Sapphire Drainage District. Do
Yeah.
we need to make a motion to
Adopt that.
adopt that?
Yes.
Okay, is there any public comment before that, or?
No, not at this point. That was closed, and this was for the
Just-
purpose of adopting the order.
Okay. All right, in that case, I'll make the motion for the order after the public hearing regarding the Lake Sapphire Drainage District.
Poole will second.
Question.
Bingham, aye.
Poole, aye.
Good night.
Scancarello, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Okay, very good. Hey, moving on to our regular part of the meeting here, 5.1, acceptance of the July 6, 2023 minutes.
I'll make the motion to accept the minutes.
Poole will second.
Question.
Bingham, aye.
Poole, aye.
Good night.
Scancarello, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Okay. Okay, we have the minutes for July 10th, 2023.
Wait. I'm sorry. I was not there July 6th. I have to abstain.
Do you want to abstain? We'll change your vote to abstain?
Yes, please.
Okay. Duly noted, Madam Clerk. Change the record? Okay. All right, 5.2, acceptance of the July 10th, 2023 minutes.
Make a motion to accept the July 10th minutes.
Okay. Second?
I'll second.
Call the question?
Bingham, aye.
Poole, aye.
Again, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Okay. Hey, general fund abstract. So be it resolved that the town board of the town of Monroe requests approval of abstract 23-12, general fund containing checks number 30431 through 30588 totaling $1,267,782.50. Can I get a motion on that?
I'll make that motion.
Call a question. Can I get a second?
Bingham will second.
Second.
Okay. She beat you, Tony. Seconded by Councilwoman Bingham. Called question.
Bingham, aye.
Poole, aye.
McGinn, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Okay, the item 7.2, cash transfers, the abstract for the tax collector number 2023-02. Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Monroe made a motion to, or is making a motion to approve the abstract 2023-02 tax collector cash transfers totaling $847.27. Can I get a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Poole will second.
Question?
Question. We're on 7.1 or 7.2?
7.2.
Okay. Bingham, aye.
Poole, aye.
McGinn, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
And actually, you know what it is, Mary? Let me let me just jump back for a second. It's actually those, there's 01 and 02 are on the same, they're on separate sheets, but that's what it adds up to, is that $847.27.
That was kind of my
Yeah,
confusion
yeah,
as well.
it's actually a combination of 2023-01 and 2. Those cash transfers total $847.27. If my math is correct here. Otherwise, we'll do them as separate.
Let's finish up with 7.2, and then we'll go back if we need be.
So 7.2 is actually, 7.2 is, so that's 2023-02 is, it is transferred 642.69 is the amount.
That's combined, that's the two of them for 01 and 02.
Okay, so.
2302, so 2023-02 is 642.69.
640.
Yep.
And then 01 would be 204.58. Do you?
01 is actually 262.27, so $262.27.
That's my confusion.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to do these individually. Why don't we just do that?
Thank you. Let's go back to 7.1.
Let's get a redo on this. All right. So I'd like to make a motion to do a cash transfer, tax collector contractual from account number A000-1330-4500-00, and that's going to be a transfer out of $262.27, and that's going to be going into the account is tax collector education dues and meetings, and that's account number A000-1330-4189-00.
Bingham will second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Full aye.
Begin aye.
Gancarello, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Okay. Okay, and I have abstract number 2023-02 dated today, and that is going to be, just reading this here. Transfer is going to be A000-1330-4189-00 in the amount of $34.91. There's another, and that's from education dues and meetings, and then there's going to be a transfer out of from tax collector roll and bill prep, and that's 800-030-4102-00, and the transfer out on that is $297.78. And the transfer in account is to tax collector education dues and meetings, which is A000-1330-4189-00 in the amount of $642.69. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Question. About the 204.58.
That's today's day two. All right, well, I'll throw that in there. Listen, these things are confusing. I'm sorry. So it's from the tax collector enumeration, which I guess is that the dog dog enumeration, I guess? Right. So it's A000-1410-4890-00, and that's a transfer out of that account in the amount of $204.58. So.
And that will also transfer into.
And that's going to transfer in to tax collector, education, dues, and meetings which is the...
Same account number.
Same account, 4189, yep.
For a
Grand
total
total
of,
of 847.
on the bottom there.
4727, yes.
Yes, okay.
Bingham will second that.
Thank God. Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Pool eye.
McGinn, aye.
Cancarello, aye.
Okay,
Cardone, aye.
all right. Moving right along. Be it resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Monroe requests the approval, this is 7.4, cash transfer to investment funds, and that is, be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Monroe requests approval of abstract number 2023-04, investment funds cash transfer to move to cash investment funds night class totaling $500,000. Can I get a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Discussion, can we go back to 7.3?
These are out of order, aren't they? Yes, they are. All right, so we can do 7.4 and then go back to 7.3. Is that okay?
All right, just don't skip it.
And again, the purpose of this is just going into night class to get a higher interest rate. So it's moving money from our savings and other accounts into that night class account because we get a higher interest rate. And then when we need the money to pay bills or for whatever, it gets moved back into the general or whatever account that it came out of to pay it. So it's a good money-making move for us, and that's as it came up.
That interest.
Got to get that interest.
Absolutely.
So, all right, so that we have that's for 23-04. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Call a question?
Bingham, aye.
Pool eye.
Begin, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Okay. Okay, 8.1.
Nope, we gotta go back to 7.3.
7.3?
Yes, we're transferring more money.
Yes, if you have it, that'd be great.
So I'd like to make a motion that the Town Board of the Town of Monroe requests the approval of abstract 2023-04 cash transfer to move cash back to funds to cover future expenditures in 2023 totaling $880,000.
Bingham will second.
Call a question?
Bingham, aye.
Pool eye.
Begin, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Okay.
Cardone, aye.
Now we can go on to 8.
A budget transfer 21-15. And that is a transfer of parkland deposits from account number A000-6883. And the amount of the transfer in is $64,653.60. And that is going to be going into the account as other liabilities, which is A000-221. And that's the amount, that's the transfer out is $64,653.60. Consolidated savings, which is account number A000-0201. The transfer into that account is $64,653.60. And that's the transfer in, and the out is going to be from Mumbaisha Park Repair and Maintenance A000-7121-4303-00 in the same amount of $64,653.60.
Grand total of.
Grand total of $129,307.20. You're welcome. Okay, to get a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Bingham will second.
Okay, call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Pool eye.
Begin, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Okay.
Cardone, aye.
So passed. All right, we're moving into new business. It's not on the agenda. It got added on to board docs later in the day because it came up later in the day, the resolution. So as many people know here, the Sunbrook was in a contract with the owners of the Wright Hill corridor to purchase the properties there. At some point, they had a disagreement over payments and some other issues that wound up in state Supreme Court. Sunbrook, during this legal issue, did not communicate with the town about what their intentions were about moving forward. The attorney, the supervisor, had sent numerous emails that went unanswered, and we did not hear back from Sunbrook. So that being said, we are going to terminate the application that they had submitted, and I have a resolution here. So should I go through the whole thing, or just the whereases, or?
It's up to the board. You all have it, so you can read the be it resolved, or you can just pass the resolution. It's before everybody. It should be. It's just not on the board docs, or no? It's not.
On board docs now? Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
it's on there, so you can just adopt the resolution or vote on it. You can just read the title.
Okay, so the title is, it's going to be resolution number, do you have a resolution number? Okay. So it's going to be resolution number to be determined by the clerk, confirming termination/abandonment of the Wright Hill CCR application of Sunbrook Partners. And I'll read the therefores. So therefore be it resolved that Section 1, the above whereas clauses are incorporated herein as set forth in full. Section 2, the town board hereby confirms that the CCR application of Sunbrook Partners LLC was abandoned, and that the contract under which Sunbrook was pursuing such application was terminated, and accordingly the Sunbrook CCR application is confirmed as abandoned. Section 3, the town supervisor and any other officer, employee, or consultant, as directed by the town supervisor, may take any and all necessary actions to carry out the provisions of this resolution, including recording the prior Sunbrook CCR application as abandoned and preventing any further action with respect to such application. Section 4, the town board hereby determines that any further application filed by Sunbrook Partners with respect to the properties identified in their application is deemed a new submission of a CCR petition and master development plan. This resolution shall be effective immediately. So I'd like to call it to question. I'll make the motion that we accept this resolution as read. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
South can take it.
All right. Call to question.
Bingham, aye.
Poole, aye.
McGinn, aye.
Ancarello, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Okay, very good. What was 9.1 on the under new business is now 9.2, and that is the Wright Hill corridor. So, as many people here know, just kind of give you a little recap. We started litigation, or we did our master plan starting in 2017. As a result of the master plan, it restricted the size of accessory apartments and prohibited new construction in accessory apartments and any structure that was under 10 years old. That was part of it. Because of that, the owners of the Wright Hill corridor properties brought a lawsuit against us, and we wound up in state court. That went on for several years. In 2018 and 19, we engaged in settlement talks with the owners and entered into an MOU that allowed us to bring in a third party, the National Development Court, to market the property. 2020 and 21, COVID hit, and the NDC was unable to find a company that would build the entire project as per the CCR guidelines. 2022, Sunbrook came along and presented plans, and after multiple revisions, was unable to comply with the type of development that the town and the residents wanted to see in the Wright Hill corridor. There was issues between the owners of the property, known to us as the plaintiffs, and Sunbrook, that resulted in them winding up in state Supreme Court, and where they still, as far as we know, are still engaged in a civil action against each other. So, as per the MOU that we signed with the plaintiffs, the owners of the property, the Wright Hill corridor, if we could not find and this isn't some substance, if we couldn't find a buyer for that property, or they didn't have a buyer, they had the right to resume litigation that was at that point where they had left with the town. And so when that happened, there was a series of meetings under court supervision between our attorney, the supervisor, and the plaintiffs, the owners of the Wright Hill corridor. And I'm happy to announce at this time that we've come to an agreement where the town is going to purchase the entire Wright Hill corridor from the plaintiffs. Good news from Monroe, town, and don't thank me yet. And so what I have here, so the first part of that is what we need to do is declare lead agency for the environmental aspects of the purchase. In New York State, any property that is over 100 acres needs to have EAFs done to support the sale. So we're in the process of doing that, and we have attached to we have the EAFs, the full environmental assessment form, part 1 and 2, which is now in board docs. You can see it. We have copies here if you'd like to see it tonight. But would you like to I'd like to pass a resolution this evening declaring lead agency concerning the purchase of the 247 acres of the Wright Hill corridor. So, Mr. Nugent, should I go through the whole thing?
Again, it's before the board. You have the EAF, so you don't have to read it. If you want to, you can do the be it resolved and do the same part.
This is, again, to declare lead agency for the purchase of the property. So now therefore, be it resolved that Section 1, the above whereas clauses are incorporated herein as set in full. Section 2, the Town Board, Town of Monroe, Town Board hereby declares itself lead agency regarding the proposed action to purchase the premises consisting of the 247 acres along the Wright Hill corridor. Section 3, the Town Supervisor or consultant, as directed by the supervisor, is hereby authorized to take any and all necessary actions to carry out the provisions of this resolution. Section 4, this resolution shall be effective immediately. Okay, I'll make a motion. We accept the resolution as read.
Town clerk to provide the number.
With the appropriate number assigned to the resolution. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you. Bingham will second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Hull, aye.
McKenna, aye.
Cancarello, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Supervisor.
Cardone, aye.
Gotcha.
That's 2 votes.
Okay, and and in keeping with this, we need to schedule a special meeting. And that meeting, I'm going to make a motion that we schedule that meeting for Monday, 8/21 at 7 p.m., and that is to authorize bonding to purchase the property.
Second that.
Call the question.
What time?
7 p.m., I'm sorry. Or immediately thereafter. So 7:20, it's at 8:21, 7 p.m., here at Town Hall at 7 p.m. or shortly thereafter.
Hull will second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Hull, aye.
And aye.
Cancarello, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Okay, very good. So, Madam Clerk, if you could have that posted. Thank you.
I'll do that tomorrow.
Beautiful, thank you. Okay, we have a letter of resignation from one of our dial bus drivers. It is now, that would be 9.3. It was 9.2. It's 9.3 now. and that is on July 28th. It's from Ernst Aristil, and he's on July 28th. I'm resigning from my position as a bus driver of the town of Monroe Dial Bus effective 7/28/23. So make a motion to accept his resignation.
Who will second?
Call the question.
Hingham, aye.
Full aye.
Begin aye.
Ancarello, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Okay. 9.3.
4.
9.4 now. Would you like to handle this?
Oh, would I like to handle
Yeah,
the clothesline?
the clothesline
project?
cut, yes.
I would love to handle the clothesline
All right, yeah, because I'm like tired
Can
of
you-
talking and I need a sip
can
of
you
water
open
here,
that
so
up
why
for
don't
me,
you
please?
jump right on in there?
So there's an organization that hosts this very powerful project, the Clothesline Project, that brings attention to domestic violence. We hosted them last year. They filled this boardroom with clotheslines and T-shirts that were very moving, some of them created by children, some of them created by women, men who have all been impacted by domestic violence. I had the opportunity to speak with the people who organized this, and it's crucial that we get a better understanding about domestic violence out there to the public. So I am very happy to state that the Clothesline Project will be here at the Town Hall Meeting Room on October 17th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And as I said, it's a visual display of T-shirts from survivors of domestic violence. By walking the line, visitors help to increase awareness about the impact of violence in people's lives, celebrate the strength of survivors, and break the silence that often surrounds domestic violence. So I would like to make a motion that we approve the use of Town Hall for the Clothesline Project on October 17th, 2023, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Hingham will second.
What day is that on?
That's a good question. October 17th? It's a Tuesday.
Thank you, Dory.
I made a motion. Mary seconded it.
Well, let me call the question then.
Hingham, aye.
Full aye.
McGinn, aye.
Ancarello, aye.
Cardone, aye.
What's that? No, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. All right. All right, 9.5, electrical conduit repair for 11 Stage Road. That is the old town hall. Have a resolution to approve a proposal for the repair of the electrical conduit connecting the service into the town-owned building located at 11 Stage Road. This loss occurred on June 23rd, 2023, involved an unknown vehicle damaging the electric conduit connecting the service into the building. A claim was filed through New York Municipal Insurance Reciprocal, NYMER, our carrier. Proposals for the repair were submitted by Alessandro Brothers and Deluxe Electrical Projects. Alessandro Brothers was, their price was $6,500. Deluxe Electrical Projects was $12,250. I'd like to make a motion that we contract with Alessandro Electric for the price of $6,500 for this repair.
I'll second.
Call the question.
Hingham, aye.
Little discussion.
Go ahead.
Please, go right ahead.
So when this was submitted to our insurance company, they approved Alessandro. They would not approve the other quote.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well,
That makes
listen,
sense.
less money and NYMER's approval, that's a win-win for us, so. Okay, very good. Okay, call the question.
Hingham, aye.
Full aye.
McGinn, aye.
Ancarello, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Okay. So 9.6 is we have a short-term rental application review for 114 West Monbassia Road, okay? The town of Monroe Building Department has received a written objection to this application in accordance with Local Law 4, amending Chapter 40 of the Town Code, Short-Term Rentals, Section 40-8. The procedure for first permit issuance is upon receipt of an application for first permit issuance of an STR, short-term rental, for which an objection has been received, the town board shall schedule a public hearing on the permit at a regularly scheduled town board meeting, no less than 14 days and no more than 45 days from the application's receipt. The town board shall require that the applicant mail notice of the hearing and a form prescribed by the town clerk to all residents within 500 feet of the subject property. The town board may waive the public hearing if no objections are received and shall instead schedule the application for consideration at a regularly scheduled meeting, no more than 45 days from the application receipt. So in the case of this, this short-term rental application, we did receive an objection from a neighbor from that mailing, so we have to schedule a public hearing. That being said, I'd like to schedule that public hearing for September 5th at 7 p.m. or shortly thereafter.
I'll second.
Call the question.
Hingham, aye.
Poole, aye.
Good night.
Ancarello, aye.
Okay. Motion so passed. Okay, we have another application. You say something, Tony? Okay, no. All right. Okay, we have another short-term rental application for 203 Cromwell Hill Road, SBL 7-3-2. All right, and so everything with this application is in line, or is in order. There were no objections from the mailings to the residents that live within 500 feet of the dwelling with the short-term rental. And that being said, we can approve the application at this. Discussion from the board?
Yes.
Hey, right ahead, Councilwoman Beam.
Was this the neighborhood where there was a homeowners association or something that said it could only be residential use? I think that's up around
That was
that
Osseo
area.
Park, right? Was that Crum Hill Road? I think that was Osseo
That goes
Park.
No, I
up-
thought that was
that goes
Allison
up.
Drive.
Oh, it was Allison Drive?
I think
Yeah.
it was Allison Drive.
Yeah, but is it that neighborhood? I don't know how far that homeowners association, and maybe legal could clarify if a rental is still considered residential use.
Well, I mean, I think if they did the mailing and there was no objection from the homeowners association, that we didn't receive any. Tony, did you get any feedback on this?
No, we didn't get any feedback on it, but, I mean, I had the chance to go look at the other two locations. I did not personally go to this one, even though it's right up the road from me, so.
Is that a homeowners association over there or no? I don't.
I'm trying to, you know what?
Is the owner of the property present today or here? No? All right. Get it right from the horse's mouth that they were here, but they're not, so.
I mean, we could always, listen, we could always table this
To the 5th?
to the next meeting.
Okay. So I'll make a motion that we table it to the 5th to determine if there's a homeowner, an HOA conflict with this.
I'll second.
All right, call a question.
Hingham, aye.
Poole, aye.
Again, aye.
Ancarello, aye.
Okay.
Cardone, aye.
Okay. All right, we have another short-term rental application for 137 Berry Road. And again, we received all the proper paperwork. There were no objections from the surrounding residents. The building inspector did his inspection. Everything seems to be in order. The insurance requirements have been met. And based on what we have here, I believe that we can vote on it here this evening. So, any comments on this, this application for the short-term rental?
It's right next to Faber Farm, I believe.
What's that?
I think it's right next to Faber Farm.
Okay.
So,
Well, that's kind of a selling point for them, isn't it? You know, hey, go Heineke in Faber Farm, you know? Yeah, I don't see that as being, listen, obviously, since we own Faber Farm, the town, if we find them to be not, yeah, it would behoove them, as they say, to
not be noisy.
not to be noisy or not to do anything that would bring undue attention from the town to their short-term rental. And I think they probably are smart enough to realize that.
right,
So,
I just know that the Boy Scouts use that Faber Farm section in the back. So I wanted to just make
Make us
everybody aware that,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
No, that's cool.
you might have different people there one week versus the next week.
Okay. All right. That being said, anybody have any, all right, I'll make a motion to accept the application as read. Is the homeowner here for that property? No? Okay. All right, I'll make a motion that we accept the application as submitted.
I'll second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Begin aye.
Ankarello, aye.
Okay. And that was actually 9.8. I said it was 9.6, but everything got renumbered. Okay, so the town hall fire alarm system. I know this has been dragging on for a while. My apologies for not getting this going, but it came down to the whole internet/landline, you know, whether with this new internet provider, if the alarm system would work with it. So I think NAS is more money, but I think they're probably a better to be that in my review. NAS. So just so you know what the difference is, with the NAS, the monthly cellular rate is $55 for monitoring, and the installation and labor was $850. But again, there's been some issues, including this unresolved issue that they haven't been able to fix. And if you're using a landline, it would be $550 a month with a monthly monitoring rate of $45. So with NAS, the total parts and labors for installation of everything that needs to be done is $2,095. There's a deposit of $1,047, and the total annual recurring service for the board, which includes service calls and everything else, is $1,380. So it'd be my recommendation, even though it's more money, to go with them because, again, service calls, there's no extra charge for that. There is for the other company, and I think that's probably something that we would wind up saving. Town hall.
Second.
Question?
Bingham, aye.
Full aye.
Aye.
Ankarello, aye.
So passed. Okay. 11, public comment. Any public comment?
There is no public
No
comment.
public comment.
Councilmember
Really?
McGinn?
All right.
I do have,
Mr. Superintendent, how, you know what, usually I'm used to you sitting over here, and I would see you and say, what do we have from the highway department? So, Mr. Superintendent, what do you have from the highway department? I'm sorry.
So just quick, we were given a task of coming up with a solution for our garbage company not picking up yard waste anymore. Grass clippings, small amount of leaves, branches. So we in a short period of time, we threw together a couple bins at the highway department that were allowing residents to bring their yard waste there. We don't want any plastic bags. We want either you cut your plastic bags and empty it into the bins, And you can either put them in a dumpster that's provided right next to it, or bring them in a biodegradable bags, and you can throw them right in. But we ask everybody to sign in at the office first, your name, address, and phone number. The hours are from Monday to Thursday, from 8 to 3, and for now, Fridays, from 7:30 to 9:30. So so far, we've done it almost all week. We've had 2 pages of sign-ins, and everybody seems to be really appreciative that they have a place to take their grass clippings right now. So it's going to be a work in progress, but we're finding out that everybody's more than happy. So, and pickleball we're just waiting on the acrylics. Should be probably another week and a half to 2 weeks, I would think, before they can put that on, and then finish the gates up and play ball.
Great, awesome.
Do you know there's a National Pickleball Day?
Today?
No, it's not today. It was, Tony, when was it?
Well, maybe maybe we could coordinate.
Last Tuesday, maybe? National Pickleball Day.
Maybe we could coordinate the opening of the courts with National Pickleball Day, you know?
Well, we'd have to wait a year then, so
Yeah.
maybe we'll have our 1-year anniversary on National Pickleball Day.
Right ahead.
876 Jerk. Is changing the event to Saturday, August 19th, which is this Saturday from 12 to 5 p.m. So we just need to approve that.
Okay, were they doing that?
O&R Park.
Okay. You want to make that motion?
I'll make the motion that we approve 876 Jerks Food Fest, which is Saturday, October 19th, from 12 to 5 p.m. at O&R Park.
Okay. I'll second that motion.
Thank you.
Question?
Aye.
All aye.
Again, aye.
Ancarello, aye.
Mr. Nugent, do we have any,
August 8th.
For executive, you mean?
yeah,
One item, litigation regarding
litigation? Okay.
state cases we discussed.
All right.
I'll make a motion that we go into executive session for litigation.
Second.
Attorney-client?
I'll second it. Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
All aye.
Good night.
Ancarello, aye.
All right. Let's go into executive. Okay, I'd like to make a motion that when the town board is returned from executive session and is going to resume the regular meeting. Can I get a motion to resume the meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All will second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
All aye.
McGinn, aye.
Ancarello, aye.
Aye.
Okay. Mr. Nugent, you have something for us?
Yes, we just have a resolution that needs to be adopted regarding acceptance of a Board of Ethics complaint. So if there's no objection, I'll read the resolution and somebody can make the motion.
Go right ahead.
So it will be resolved that the town board hereby accepts the report of the Board of Ethics regarding complaint number 2023-1.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
All aye.
McGinn, aye.
Ancarello, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Okay. That all being said, no other business before the town board? Nothing? Going once, going twice? All right, I'll make a motion that we adjourn the meeting for this evening.
Bingham will second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
All aye.
McGinn, aye.
Ancarello, aye.
Okay. All right.